I don't respect celibacy because it's simply not real. Okay. The thing is, nobody you know in your life is actually upholding celibacy. What they're doing is they're waiting around for someone to break the celibacy, which doesn't count as real celibacy. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. So many bodies, like, when initially, like when I'm first getting involved, had came from situations where it's like, oh, I'm celibate, you're gonna be the one to like do it. Even sometimes when it's like you meet someone, they're not really like putting that pressure on you, like not really like, oh, you're gonna be the one, but they tell you like, oh, like I've been celibate, and you're like, okay, like congrats, like good. What, like, I don't know what to say to that. Okay, I feel like it's completely pointless, which I'll get to that later. But it's like you're like, okay, congrats, fine, whatever. But then it's like later that night, they're jumping your bones. And it's like, how celibate were you really? So it's like, I wonder, I'm like, okay, were you actually celibate? And I'm just like that guy, like I make the breakthrough, like I'm just that good? Or like, were you celibate and you're just saying that to impress me, to make you feel like, make me feel like maybe you just like weren't a bop? Because when I tell you, like the celibate crowd, they be the biggest bops. Like the biggest people that like are so like into sleeping with you, I swear to God, they're the people where it's like, oh, I haven't slept with someone in however long, because I've been doing blah 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 every time. My theory when it comes to celibacy, for one, I feel like sometimes it's just lip service. Again, like I feel like it's just like, oh, like I'm gonna make you feel like I haven't been sleeping with people, but I actually have. But other times, again, I feel like they're just waiting for like the guy or girl, if a man is celibate for whatever reason. Like I remember the situation, bro. This girl, she told me to finish inside her. And I'm like, okay, me, I follow instructions. So she told me to finish inside her. And then she was like, oh man, like we started arguing about the plan B off the rip. Because my thing, I'm like, bro, you told me to finish inside. What am I going to do? Like, I hate that. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve. Don't tell me to finish inside if like you're going to try to make me pay for a plan B. I'm following your instructions. Anyways, we're arguing about it. And she was like, oh, but like, oh, my like roommates are gonna be so mad because I wasn't even supposed to be sleeping with anybody because like I've been like in this like celibate thing. And I'm like, okay, for one, it's one thing to break your celibacy, but to break your celibacy and tell me to finish inside you, how was I supposed to know? And I wish you would have told me about your celibacy before and been like a bit more forthcoming. Okay, because there are situations where people told me their celibacy before, and sometimes like I was like, hey, like we don't have to do that. Like, let's not get involved with each other in that way. Like, this is a story for another time, but I remember I had this big issue of like I would have someone like in my room, and I wouldn't be able to sleep, or I wouldn't want them there anymore, and I would straight up just like leave. Like I would leave the room like while they're in it. Again, this is a story for a different time, but like I remember this one girl, like she said she was celibate. I was like, nah, like like I know you made that thing. Like I know it's like a big deal. And then like in the middle of the night, she was like sleeping in my apartment. I left. Loki like dipped. Had to link up with someone else, okay? But it was worth it. It was worth it, and I don't think she knew because when I came back, she was like still asleep. So yeah, I mean it was the middle of the night. Like we'll be fine. But like you know what I mean? Like I respect like celibacy sometimes. Like there has never been a situation where I run into somebody, like where I was like dating and I was like, oh, like hey, like what's up, and they were telling me like, oh, like I'm celibate, and they actually stood on it. Never. Never. Every time they tried to sleep with me. I'm telling you this right now. I want you to think of like the last person to tell you that they were celibate. You slept with them, didn't you? Like, look, like they're always giving it up. Like when people who claim to be celibate got to be the biggest. Do I want to say this word? Hoes. The biggest hoes on the market. Like, honestly, I would trust like if I was single, right, and I'm like looking for like some cats. I'm looking for some box. I would like go home with someone who claimed to be celibate before I'd go with someone who like had like 10 bodies in the past month, like straight up, because literally renowned bops can be more fickle than someone who's claiming to be celibate. Like every time they claim to be celibate, they're going. Like I feel like that's why. Okay, here's the thing. Maybe there are people who are truly celibate who just don't say anything about it. You know what I mean? Who just like keep it low key, and you don't really know. You're like, oh, like we're not sleeping together, whatever. Like it's fine, whatever. But like people who tell you they're celibate, every time, every time. And the things I don't know if they're lying. Like, look, I remember this girl. She told me she's like, oh, like I was celibate for like however long. You know what I mean? Like this, what I'm going for. Like that's what I've been doing. And then me and her like sleep together. It's like a big moment for her. I can tell. I'm like, I'm proud of her for like, doing this. Like, good for her. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, like, really? That's all it took? Like, it doesn't take that much. All you gotta do, I'm gonna tell you this right here. You gotta sit there You got to listen to the problems. They're going to tell you why they're celibate sometimes, not even every time, but they're going to tell you like, oh, I went through this. Someone did this to me. They broke my heart, and I couldn't sleep with someone again. Like I'm looking again. They're looking for like the person to break it. They're not always going to tell you that, but it's like they're looking for like a real person for like a relationship, but they're looking for someone to break it. Because you got to remember, okay, here's probably why. They're probably fiending. They're probably so like in the mood. They think about it. Imagine, I know some of you are gooners out there. Imagine you're gooning, right? And then all of a sudden, is it just somehow you have no control over it? No gooning for however long. Okay, you can't. You go from being a big gooner. No, you can't goon for like 2 months, for instance, and that's like a short example of time. The next person you talk to, you're gonna be looking for an opportunity to like jump their bones, and I feel like that's what these people do. Like literally, the thing is, when I like first meet somebody, I'm not a big talker. I let them talk, okay? But me letting them talk shows that I'm a good listener. So they like it. They're really into it. And then like, there's this talk, like a little bit of back and forth. Like, I do talk a little bit. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, I feel so different around you. I can be myself around you. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean? I just let you talk. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm a good mirror. Like, I feel like I'm good at making people feel like how they feel when they're by themselves, but like with another person, and then the other person is me. Like I'm an extension of them because one, personality mirroring, you know what I mean, but also just like I let them talk. I let them talk, but then like like they act a certain way, and I start acting like a similar way. It's like we're twinning for real. And also, I'm a bit of a looker. Okay, it kind of adds to my charm. Being an attractive man. But it's like if you're gonna let me beat your doonies down off the rip. Like you claim to be celibate again. Like you made a promise to yourself that you weren't gonna sleep with someone, and just because I'm handsome, you're gonna toss me some box, toss me some coup. It's kind of disgusting. Like I'm kind of disgusted by that, because it's disrespectful to the idea of yourself. And here's the thing: is I would love to sit here and tell you that like I think it's just me. I think I just have like something magic about me that like makes celibate people like say like they're celibate, but then actually like back up on it. I don't think that's the case. I think you relate as well, probably. Like, I don't think anybody who says they're celibate to a human being wouldn't sleep with that human being. I think that's a part of the celibacy, quote unquote. Do you think that's like something that like turns them on? Like that's like a thing where it's like, ooh, like I'm gonna tell this person I'm celibate before I sleep with them? Because it's that simple. Like that's how I know like it's not just me, because it's too easy. You know what I mean? Like it's too easy to the point where I'm like, oh, like even for me, like this is like a bit much. Like, in general, oftentimes I feel like I can get someone interested in me very fast. Like it can be very easy. But like when I tell you, there's been absolutely no wavering. Like nobody who's like, hey, like like it's always that night. The very same day that they say, oh, I'm celibate. I haven't slept with someone in however long. They be they be busting it open. And I think maybe like the edging, like the constant edging, like makes their mind almost like view you. How do I explain it? View you in a more enhanced way. So me being like a large, handsome man, I feel like become even more large and handsome because I haven't had it in that long. So I don't want to say like drunk goggles, because again, it's like they would do it like if they weren't celibate, they would also do it. But like it's kind of like drunk goggles in the sense where it's like I'm even like it's harder to resist. I feel like personally that's what it looks like. But honestly, I feel like again, moral of the story: if you look a certain way or you have a certain level of desirability, that stuff never matters. Like I'm telling you, look me now. If someone tells you that they're celibate, completely ignore it. It means nothing. Like when I tell you, it's insane. Literally, I've had more bops, like just completely like bops, like loose, like they have like mad bodies. They're like, oh, like we're about to get into it, and they're like, oh, like wait, like maybe we should wait. But people who are celibate, no, they're into it off. They're going all the way in. Like they don't get like there was never any sort of hesitation. Here's the thing: I'm not gonna lie. I think celibacy might just be like not being a hoe for some people. Like I feel like maybe some people who are in like celibacy had like a history of like sleeping around or like acting like extra promiscuous like when they were going through something. and then like they went through something like really hard, and they're like, okay, now like I really can't be promiscuous for whatever reason. Like now I have to be celibate. But then it's like when they meet someone that they just genuinely want to sleep with because they want to sleep with them, then it just all goes out the window. Not gonna lie, it's kind of disrespectful to the concept of celibacy. It bothers me ever so slightly because there are certain situations I was in where it was clear I wasn't in there for a long time. I was in there for a good time. But they like, sometimes people are asking for it. That's the thing. Sometimes like people are like, oh, like I hate when people like hit and quit me. Sometimes you're asking for it. Like honestly, it breaks my heart that they would break their own heart. Okay. But again, I want to tell you, it's such a common thing. I've never heard of anybody standing on it. I've never seen anybody stand on it. Celibacy is honestly, objectively, not a real thing. Not a real thing whatsoever. Like, it's been manufactured to make you think people are a certain way, but they're not actually that way. Okay, they're low key just bops. Like I promise you, anybody who claims to be celibate, secret bop. Okay, just waiting to be unleashed. Like I'm being so real. But that is the video, and I will tell you, I don't know if you've been keeping up, if you've been making it to the end of all my videos. This is the last video of the day in which I had to record 7 videos in a row, and I drank 4 Red Bulls and a 4 Loco. Which, when I tell you, the way I'm feeling right now is so interesting. Like I'm genuinely like very sauced, which usually, believe it or not, after 1 4 Loco, I'm not like that sauced. But it's like I'm also sauced with energy. I don't think I have it in me to make another YouTube video though, because just so you know, like I can barely remember what I said, and I don't know if I come across as that sauced, but like I am that sauced. Because sometimes I've been in different situations where like sometimes people are like, oh, like man, you were so sauced that night, but then other times people are like, bro, what, you were sauced? So I don't know. I never know how like obvious it is. Like I'm gonna watch it back, obviously, like right now while I'm sauced, and just make sure like things click, like it makes sense. But yeah, yeah, bro, like I got it. I got the substance in me. Like if I waited too much longer, I might not be able to speak. By the way, I know the camera sometimes goes in and out like a focus. I'm sorry about that. But like if I went for too much longer, I may lose my ability to like, eloquently state my words, to say things that are like pronounceable, not be too slurish with the words. But also, I know I've been telling you guys for a long time, I've been trying to batch record. It's my first attempt at like real like batch recording. And I think we should clap it up for me. I'm not gonna. I feel like very accomplished because again, like this is the last day that I could batch record because I'm going to see my girl tomorrow and all my equipment's here. Like I want to be able to record YouTube videos at her place, but I wanted to be consistent with the daily uploads because I love the daily uploads. So I'm so glad that I got the videos done. So my daily uploads are intact. Tomorrow though, you will see a fresh BRS. Okay, she told me she's gonna shave my face when I see her. I think she's gonna cut off my mustache. I'm so nervous. So please, I hope she does it early on. Okay, I'm gonna make sure she does it because I'm gonna be there for like a week. I'm gonna make sure she does it early on, so it has time to grow back. Because if it's bad, I don't want y'all to see this. Because again, this isn't TikTok. Like YouTube, like that stuff really be there forever. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a few days and it's done. So, or I just hope I look really handsome with it, and then like I'll commit to that. But y'all look, see like how good how like fast my my goatee came in, because the thing is I actually shaved my face like again, like either like 1 or 2 times, like after I just had the mustache for a bit. And yeah, I rock with it. I don't know, I like both looks, to be honest with you. I like just the mustache. I like mustache and goatee. I'm an enigma. What's going on? Who knows? But yeah, again, super sauced. I don't know like if I give the impression of someone who's like super sauced right now, but like unbelievably sauced, like out of my mind. Like this is probably one of the most sauced moments I've been in my entire life, because I didn't know of like what the Red Bull combo was. I thought it was gonna make me a little drowsy, so I was worried about being drowsy. Not really drowsy, but at the same time, I'm feeling the impact of the alk in my system. But luckily, I'm on the dude. If I was feeling like this, and I was on like the second video I had to do, I would have been cooked. Because again, I feel like I can like barely talk right now. So I'm super excited to lay down and sleep. Maybe will I be able to sleep? I don't know. Or I'll just do whatever. Yeah. Anyways, you're gonna see a refreshed me tomorrow, because again, I also like that now that I batch record, I'm gonna have time to relax. You know what I mean? And hopefully I can like batch record more. But anyways, I'm super excited. I'm just very I'm excited about life. You know, I like things, but oh yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Everything I have to say. I'm so sorry, and I love you platonically. Okay, have a great day, night, evening, morning.